Concord University men's basketball team wraps up a 3-game homestand. We're going to do a 2-for-1. It's the Cal Vulcans coming in Saturday afternoon and then followed by a Monday matinee against Virginia Union. Head coach Todd May and I'm Wes McKinney. Coach, before we talk about the upcoming opponents, let's talk about your team's 61-50 win against Bluefield State. I know you were frustrated with the offensive output against Pitt, Johnstown, and IUP, but I think you were even more frustrated with your defensive effort against those two teams to open up the season. But you guys flipped the script, an outstanding defensive effort, really the best one for the program in at least a decade plus.
Yeah, I thought we did a really good job defensively on Wednesday night. Bluefield State, different than what they had been in years past. Very, very set heavy. Going to walk it up, going to get in their stuff, try to maximize their matchups against ours, and I thought our guys did a really good job of trying to take away what they wanted to do offensively, and so give our guys credit for stepping up when they needed to.
Yeah, and I think your defensive effort showed by the fact that you ran them off the three-point line and you did not allow them to get into the paint, really settled for mid-range jumpers, which was kind of an oddity. And Mikey Young, I believe it was, talked about that in the post-game. How much did you stress to not let them get good looks at the basket or wide-open threes?
Yeah, they had some success. Even though they went 0-2, they scored the ball at a pretty good level up at Frostburg in their opening weekend challenge there. So we knew we had to do a good job defensively, and that was one of our things that we wanted to take away was obviously keeping them off the three-point line, but then at the same time not allowing them to get all the way to the rim. So thought, again, our ball pressure was much better of getting them off their spots, and then, like I said, when they penetrated, then those gaps being there and making them take some tough ones that they weren't able to convert.
We talked about this last time, but Craig Gilbert, Josiah Rickards asking to, had great finishes to their season last year as freshmen, but being asked to take that next step, and we saw that for about a 5 or 6 minute spurt there with Craig. Obviously had a great game against Johnstown, but what he was able to do, basically just take the game over and be that closer for you guys against Bluefield State.
Yeah, I thought Josiah got off to a really good start against Bluefield State, kind of got us going there in the first half. And then I kind of challenged Craig at halftime to be a little bit better than what he had done in the first half, and he really stepped up. And if those two are going, the thing you got to remember is those guys were only sophomores. So they're still going to have some up and downs, but trying to find that consistency is going to be key for both of them. And if they can do that, it's going to help us out in the long run.
All right, we'll talk about the opponents now. Cal comes into Saturday's contest with a 1-2 record. A couple of tough losses to start the season against Wheeling and West Liberty. And now Saturday will be their 4th straight game against an MEC opponent after they controlled Charleston from start to finish in a 90-60 win. Under Coach Sancombe at Cal, or whether he was at Wheeling, an efficient offense. They play good enough on defense. What challenges do they present?
Yeah, I mean, they've got 4 guys in double figures, obviously putting 90 on the board the other night. They can really score the ball. So they've figured some things out that maybe they didn't have that first weekend. But again, it's going to be a tough challenge for us from the defensive standpoint, just because, like I said, they run a lot of good actions, and they do it with great pace. That's how his teams have always been. Some of that 5-out stuff that they do. But again, they've just got really good, they're not that deep. They play about 7.5 guys. But those guys that come in all give them something, and they play at a high level. So it's going to be a big challenge for us.
All right, and I'm looking forward to your 2 best players here early in the season have been your big men, Bo Gigo and Craig Gilbert. And really their 2 best players are their big men, Bryson Lucas, who plays a little bit out of position as like a 4 or 5 guy, and then the Ohio University transfer, Jordan Buchanan. How about those 4 guys going after each other in particular?
Yeah, there's going to be a couple good matchups there, and like I said, we've got to do a good job on those guys and not allowing them to get to their averages. I think they're averaging around 21 and 18, something like that. Lucas had a big game the other night against Charleston with 26, so his average got bumped up a bunch there. But we've just got to do a good job, make it tough for them, not allow them to see their first couple go in, and hopefully we can stretch that out throughout the game where our defense stays consistent against them.
Virginia Union coming up on Monday. It's a similar style as you saw against Bluefield State, a lot of half-court action. The Panthers do appear to be playing maybe a little bit faster than they have been. They'll have almost a week off. Their last time out was on Tuesday against West Liberty, a 94-88 win, one of the bigger wins for head coach Jay Butler over the last handful of years. But this is your 3rd straight year playing Virginia Union. No surprise that they're out, I have to imagine.
Yeah, like I said, haven't really dug into them much. Obviously, our focus has been on Cal the last couple of days after the win on Wednesday. But just from years past, like I said, big, athletic. Like I said, offensively, come down, try to grind it out. They're going to play a 2-3 zone, try to make it tough on you. Do that with tempo as well, with kind of a full court, soft press, then falling back into their zone there. So we'll dig into more to that, Saturday night after hopefully a win against Cal, and then see what we can do. But year in and year out, Virginia Union, one of the top teams in the region, and so we know we going to have our hands full. Coming on Monday.
And last thing for you, how much does playing all these different styles help you guys going forward? You talk about IUP with the physicality, the discipline, and the efficiency of Pitt Johnstown, the pace, or the lack of pace, I guess you could say, with Bluefield State, the efficiency of Cal, and then this oddity of the kind of the 2-3 matchup zone with Union. How much does that help going forward?
Yeah, all these non-conference games prepare you for what you hopefully may see in the Mountain East at some point there. So it's a time to try different things and see what works and what may not work from a standpoint of, just like I said, what we have in offensively and defensively, what we need to do against those type of styles. One of my good buddy's dad, Gene Ford, was up in Ohio as a high school coach. He said, you got to be able to dance different ways. If the fast music's playing, you can't be slow dancing, and if the slow music's playing, you can't be fast dancing. So it's good for our guys to see those different styles and to kind of see, again, how you have to play at different times, because like I said, that's the way the Mountain East is going to be. The Fairmonts, the West Liberties that play fast up-tempo, and then you're going to have, the Glenvilles, the Wesleyans, the D&Es that, still a little bit more fast-paced than those teams that we played, but still not at the same rate that those other teams are. So you got to be able to play different ways, with different tempos and against different teams. So hopefully this non-conference is preparing us for the conference with that.
The next scheduled dance comes up on Saturday, 3 p.m. as the Vulcans of California, Pennsylvania enter the Carter Center, and then Virginia Union Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. as well. Hope you'll join us at the Carter Center. For the head coach Todd May, I'm Wes McKinney. We thank you for watching.